Investigators say it could take all weekend to secure the scene of a massive fire near Fisherman's Wharf. It destroyed a warehouse and nearly burned down a historic World War II victory ship. The flames erupted before sunrise, sending up a column of smoke that could be seen for miles. The fire happened at the back end of Pier 45. KPIX5's Dan Whaley spoke with witnesses who called 911, and he has some amazing footage of the fire.
The fire is now contained, no longer threatening any nearby structures, but now with the winds really picking up, firefighters are looking out for any hot spots that may pop back up. And looking at the big flames from this morning, a lot of folks say the SS Jeremiah O'Brien is a Memorial Day miracle. Fire, smoke, and explosions. Witnesses say this intense firefight started out from what may be the explosion of a small propane tank at 4:15 in the morning.
Actually heard an explosion and then the fires just bursted out of the building.
All I heard was a big old bang. And I thought, and it made it loud because of the warehouse, the echo.
Maricel Dizon had just arrived at work. She helped to evacuate other workers at nearby buildings.
It was scary, but I had to act fast and make sure to call 911.
Workers say what was a small fire quickly spread and in less than 5 minutes engulfed the building with thick black smoke.
Huge, shooting out of the roof. I mean, it was big and it was hot.
It was really in my face.
You really felt the heat?
Yeah, I felt the heat.
Flames shot up about 100 feet into the sky.
Right now we're doing what's called a surround and drown. So we're getting this from all sides. It's too dangerous for our members to be in there.
2 fireboats sprayed water to prevent the flames from jumping to the SS Jeremiah O'Brien Floating Museum, which is docked next to the warehouse.
It's my professional opinion that without the fireboat, we would have lost the Jeremiah O'Brien.
4 crew members safely evacuated and very little damage to the World War II warship.
The Jeremiah O'Brien's been known as the lucky ship, one of the last Liberty ships around, and she survived the North Atlantic and D-Day, and that was the first reaction. It's a miracle.
I want to show you how intense the fire was. We're standing about 3 blocks away from the fire scene, and here's a piece of charred foam that flew all the way from the fire scene. It took more than 7 hours to contain the fire. The warehouse is known as Building C, roughly the size of a football field. It was mostly used to store fishing gear for local fishermen and as a parking lot. It also contained the office of the sightseeing cruise company Red and White Fleet. Workers at nearby buildings say homeless people often slept in the warehouse.
It could have been just some homeless folks being careless with, making their breakfast.
Firefighters are not ready to say who or what caused the fire. It'll be a while before they can safely enter the building to look for the cause. The fire injured 1 firefighter. He is doing okay now. In San Francisco, I'm Da Len, KPIX5.
And as Da mentioned, while fire crews battled the flames at the warehouse, they also did save that historic ship on this Memorial Day weekend. KPIX5's Kenny Choi is live at Pier 45, not too far from the Jeremiah O'Brien with new video. Hey, Kenny.
Brian, good evening. You can still see some of the smoke and ash drifting behind me near that ship. I talked to the captain just a short while ago. He tells me it was a miracle that it was not damaged. And when you take a look at some of the video earlier this morning when the flames erupted, you could see that ship in the forefront and the flames just behind it in the background. And you really get a sense of how close those flames were to consuming this relic.
They knew the pier they couldn't save the pier structure, but they knew they had to save the ship, and they used their fireboats and just poured water on the ship and between the ship and the pier. Again, it's just a miracle. Our mooring lines didn't even melt away, which I don't even understand how that could happen considering the intensity of the fire.
Captain tells me that none of the steel on the ship buckled and not even the paint melted off the ship. There were 4 people on board when the flames erupted early this morning. Coming up tonight at 11, we'll hear much more about the history of the ship and how it was involved during the battle at Normandy on D-Day during World War II and how it survived all these years. We'll also hear more from the San Francisco Fire Department and how it saved this ship on this Memorial Day weekend. We're live in San Francisco. Kenny Choi, KPIX5.
Well, people who were awake at the time of the fire reported seeing the orange glow of the flames from miles away. Dan Whaley took those photos from just across the water. just as the sun was rising.
Also visible for miles, the smoke. The thick cloud lingered over the waterfront for most of the morning. We were able to smell it here in our studios at Broadway and Battery.